Hi, I got a community guideline strike because of AI. I'm pissed. I can't stand AI and them shoving that shit down our throats at every turn. And YouTube is one of the biggest offenders of that right now. Anytime I hear a video that has an AI voice, immediately turn it off, give it a dislike. Anytime there's AI motion on the screen, same thing. And it was funny because recently I was watching a video by Freakin' Reviews, and I'm sure a lot of you watch him as well. And he's been putting vlogs up as of June 2025 as kind of a test. And he mentioned that in one of his videos that YouTube ought to give us the option to turn off AI so we're not fed that bullshit. So here's what happened with it, and it's kind of a funny story in that, and how they're letting AI take the place of actual people, which kind of probably was the intent, but I'm going to relay a story about that. I got a notification, and YouTube said, hey, this video that you posted 8 years ago, this was a video I had, and the name of the video was, It's Just Another Magic Mushroom. In that video, I depicted a mushroom that grew in my yard. It grew in the strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street. In the video, you can, at one point, clearly see the curb and the street is there. The reason I recorded it is not because it's just a random mushroom that grows on somebody's lawn. It's because this one, you think of a mushroom with the stem and the cap on it like that. Well, this one grew sideways. And the cap was pointing like that, coming out of the ground. Straight up, made a hard right, and the cap was like that. It was odd. So I made a video about it. It was just a quick, couple minute video. Just one of those kind of passing the time kind of thing. It's nothing that was going to go viral or get me any kind of, huge views or anything like that. It was just a passing the time kind of video. I didn't expect anything much from it, and I certainly didn't expect this kind of bullshit. So YouTube says, oh, this has illegal drugs in it. No. Nope. No, it did not. It showed a mushroom that grew wildly in a suburban neighborhood. It had nothing to do with those kind of mushrooms that they thought. And was the title perhaps a bit provocative? Yeah, how else am I going to get you to click on it? That was the allure of it. Should I have had a different title? Would that have made a difference? I don't know necessarily, because, you could have, what if you had a video made for kids and you called it a magic mushroom and it's fucking, there's like a red one and a green one and, oh wait, we had that in Super Mario Brothers, remember? The red one would make you bigger and the green one would give you a one up. Remember that? Yeah, that was okay. They were obviously magic fucking mushrooms, weren't they? But no, there was no AI back then to say, nope, pulled from shelves. None of that shit. No. No. There was no hanky-panky going on here either. If this were a kid show and it were different colors, like the Magic Garden back when I was a kid, they sat on these mushrooms in the fake, TV set garden kind of thing, and they were magic because, it was this is the garden of make-believe, the magic garden of make-believe with birds and flowers and something else. I don't remember how the rest of it went, but that was the theme song, and it was okay because there was no fucking AI. So it comes up with that, and I said, oh, okay, that's all right. Things happen. It's all right. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. So I clicked on appeal, and it said, okay, what's the deal? And okay, good. Submit. Okay, so I submit it. Now I wait, Not even 30 minutes later, I get a message back. Absolutely not. Fuck you. This is showing illegal drugs. No way. Your content has been removed. And now you have a strike. You can leave the strike there forever or go to our copyright school, community guidelines school and take the quiz, which was bullshit because they keep letting you keep clicking the wrong answers till you get the right ones. And then you pass, and then they get rid of it in 90 days, so that community guidelines strike is set to expire at the end of August 2025. Have you noticed if you upload videos to YouTube that you uploaded, it says uploading, you see the percentage go up and it goes blah blah blah, and then it says processing, and that takes a few minutes, and then processing up to HD or up to 4K, or whatever you're doing with that, and then it says checking. And the checking took a while, but have you noticed now it takes an abnormally long time? There's way too much AI fucking going on here. So I'm going to tell you a little story here. In this part of the world, we have what are called red light cameras. And if you run a red light, they take a picture of your car and your license plate and send you a ticket in the mail. Now, that's kind of an interesting thing because in my county, they were getting $200 for these tickets. Okay? That's a chunk of change. Now, you don't get any points on your license or anything like that because they can't prove who's driving, even if the camera clearly captured it's you. So you can't get a moving violation at all for it, but you do get the fine and you have to pay that. You can try to go to court with it, but generally the judge is going to say, ha ha, we have you on video, fuck you! And the best part is, years ago, legitimately went through a red light and decided to try to fight it in court and told the judge, I didn't do that. And the judge says, is that your car? And she said, yes, it is. She said, the judge said, well, your car went through a red light. I don't care if you were driving or anybody else was. It's your vehicle. You're paying for it. She says, well, nobody else drives my car. That was me, and I didn't do that. Ma'am, you clearly saw the car go through the red light. She says, no, that video is shopped. She tried to say that they edited the video and changed the colors in the traffic light to make it go red as she was going through that, as if they're singling her out. She called it shopped, as in photoshopped, even though that's for photos and not video. Obviously, the judge stuck her nose in the law book and went, slammed the book on her fucking nose and kicked her out, and she had to pay the fine. Good. On the other hand, the whiff made the mistake of doing that, and there were reasons, but there was a good reason. She's a nurse. She works at a hospital. The red light that she went through is right near the hospital. So she took it to court and said to the judge, hey, listen, I was called in. There was an emergency, and they needed people in. And I was one of the ones who was called. So I got to drop what I'm doing and run over there as fast as possible. Guy had a heart attack and whatever, and we got him to the hospital and that, and we ran all these kind of things, and we saved him, and the guy ended up living. And the judge was like, really? Okay. And she said, yeah, here's my ID. I work at the hospital. It's right there. you know the area because they're from Long Island here, stuff like that. And at the time, we had her old car and the license plate said RN on it. Everything's legit. And the judge was like, so the guy lived, huh? And she said, yeah. Judge said, okay, dismissed. There is no way that a computer of any kind, at all, whatsoever, could have the kind of compassion and emotion that a human being can. It's impossible. They can try to emulate that, but there's no way a computer would possibly overturn that ticket. It took an actual human being who realizes that, wow, we saved a life. That's fucking great. You know what? The county can go to hell with this ticket. We did a good thing. There's no way a computer could possibly overturn that. It's just impossible. So getting back to the magic mushroom, I decided to, as XJoe81X would say, coming from the phrase that I came up with years ago, is I went Italian. So I got on the line with YouTube and I did a chat with them. And I said, okay, here's the deal. Got this video flagged for community guidelines. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I explained exactly what was shown in the video and that, and told the lady and this and that. And she said, okay, we understand. We know this is very important to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Let me look into this. So she looks into it and she says, yeah, community guidelines. I said, no, I know that. That's why I'm contacting you. I said, can I ask you, can you actually view the video yourself? She said, yeah. She says, hold on. And she watched the video. She came back 3 minutes and 48 seconds later, whatever it was. And she said, yeah, we know this is really important to you, but unfortunately, it has been flagged for community guidelines. I said, okay, the thing is, I understand where you're coming from, but I also can read between the lines. And that means that you watched this video yourself because you told me you did. And I know that you found absolutely nothing wrong with it. Because that's what's being stated between the lines here. She kind of, in the nicest possible, I can't lose my job over this fucking way, basically said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with your video. I saw it. You're absolutely right. But our policy is such. And that's because the AI robots have taken over. So basically it went down to the point where I said, I demand a recount! Let me get my supervisor. The supervisor gets on. Now the supervisor goes to make nice. And the supervisor says, oh, well, we're going to have to, I don't know, because once the system says no good, it's no good, and you're not getting it up on YouTube regardless. And I was like, I know, that's what the other lady said, but I want you to watch the video, and kind of the same thing happened, where she's like, yeah, there's kind of nothing wrong with this guy's video, but, okay, so we're going to send your video to a team of specialists, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Okay. It took more than 24 hours, and she got back to me and said, YouTube policies state that when a video is blah, blah, blah. So basically, the long and short of the story was at least 2 different human beings, maybe a third if she actually did anything with this, actually reviewed this video, watched it, and said, no, this is totally on the ball. This is a guy showing a weird mushroom growing in his yard that just grew by itself, and it's not drugs. It's just an odd thing. It's just interesting. I'd never seen a mushroom like that before either. But this is AI, and that's what you get. And that really is the long and short of the story. Because of AI, I got a fucking community guidelines strike that is completely 100% false, as verified by at least 2 human beings. Plus myself, and I knew that I didn't do anything wrong to start with. But, you know, AI is now the law, and you're not going above the law, period. The law says it is how it is. You don't like it. Too bad. Fuck off and die. And my option is accept the community guidelines strike or leave YouTube altogether. It's an interesting thing where, you know, you basically are forced into what they say, and they do this at your job also. Depending on the circumstances, you know, we're writing you up for this, but I didn't do it. It was this guy that did it. It was that girl over there who did it. It was something else. It was blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they say, well, okay, you're right, but we need to have this on record anyway. You know, and they kind of force you into signing shit where you did no wrongdoing, and they need to have it on file in case it happens again. And your choice is sign it, and they put it on file, and it means nothing, which essentially is what's happening with the community guidelines strike. But it's just there. You know what I mean? And every time I go on to the Stupidio, the YouTube Stupidio thing to look at my videos, it says community guidelines strike, and I didn't do that. And it stays on file for 90 days, and then it goes away because I did the stupid copyright school, the community guidelines school, whatever it is. But it's still like, what the fuck? What the fuck? If I fucked up, okay. Listen, you called me, you're right. Okay, I fucked up, I'm sorry. Let me fix it, or I'll take the punishment. But I did no wrong. So, we're going to wait this out, okay? And we're going to see what happens, because they removed the video. But here's the other thing. It's like, okay, so out of how many cajillions of videos on YouTube, this one, which has not gotten any traction in years, and was posted 8 years ago, out of all the videos on YouTube, that one was picked, and they found that? Did they have these robots like crawling YouTube 24/7 looking at all the videos? I know the computer can watch a video a lot faster than a human can, but there's still time involved. And if this video is 10 minutes long, it might take the computer a minute. That's 1/10 the time of a human, or if a human watches it at 2x speed, and you can watch it further if you're not looking at audio and you just want to see the pictures as they go by really quick. You can do it maybe even 4 times as fast before you start missing details. Just to kind of skim through, and then you could rewatch that part where you say, oh, what was that? So, I get it, the computer can do it faster, but still, there's not enough processing time in the fucking world to go through this. Why was this particular video singled out? So, the interesting thing that I want to see is, after the community guidelines strike expires, what if I re-upload the video? Will the computer catch it right then and there? Something tells me it won't. Something triggered YouTube to look at this video, and just like the suggested videos that you get, there was one that I made the unfortunate mistake of clicking on recently, Some channel does fucking AI shit, and they had a baby Donald Trump with the suit and the whole thing, and because it was a baby, it's like, okay, yeah, I know this is fake, but let's just see. And it was completely and totally AI, and I get that, and it was like, it was cute to watch once, and I'm like, okay, way too much AI, nice idea, but no thanks. And now every suggested video is more of these. You can turn that off. I get it. You can say don't recommend these, but I didn't want it in, let me watch 2 or 3 of them. Now start recommending them to me. Oh, gee, I like those 2 or 3. Let me watch some more. Yeah, absolutely. No, it just like automatically you choose one thing to search for, and bam, there's everything that YouTube has to offer of the latest videos, not necessarily just the most popular ones that the bots found and shit like that. It's getting out of hand. It's really getting out of hand with this AI and all the bots and shit on YouTube. Now, I'm not in any danger of not uploading videos or stopping making videos or jumping ship to a different platform. I know this people go to Rumble. Okay, no. Okay, the audience is still here on YouTube, and it took me years and years and years and years to get as many subscribers as I have now. And if I go to a different platform, I have to be rediscovered all over again. With my shitty upload speeds on my shitty internet, to upload my entire catalog of videos would take an inordinate amount of time to put onto another platform. If it comes down to it that YouTube goes belly up and there's no more YouTube, I might have to do that one day, and I can pick and choose which I want, but still, wow. Okay, this is just, it's gotten out of control. YouTube, unfortunately, isn't fun anymore. In the Wild West, as I used to call it, which was back in the early days of YouTube, we can say even as late as 2010, 2013 even, I think, YouTube was still fun. Pretty much anything went. You could do all kinds of crazy shit. You could blow shit up. You could talk about anything that you wanted. And there were no bots that said, oh, no, no, no. Susan came in. She's dead now, thank God. Susan came in and she fucked around with the system and caused all of this. Now, Neil was her co-worker, and this continues today because the two of them were like how Kamala was running the country with Biden. You kind of see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're kind of in the same regime. Okay? Not saying anything about the Biden administration, but just we know the guy was not quite all up there. Okay? And now he's got cancer at this point in time. Unless he died by the time I point this video. I don't know. But he wasn't a well man to run the country. So obviously it wasn't him. Because he was not really able to do it. Same kind of idea, okay? Neil and Susan were in cahoots with each other like that, so it's kind of more the same business as usual. Now, there have been some things that have slackened a little bit, which is nice, and YouTube did make a point of saying that when they said, hey, we loosened restrictions on this, this, and this. But then, of course, they counter that where we tightened restrictions on this. So there's that. And now they got the fucking AI and the bots working for them. And it's just no fun anymore. We used to have 30 seconds of music that you can have in a video. Now it's 7 seconds. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day that's going to be limited down to 5. Or maybe no tolerance at all. It was fun back in the old days where you had 30 seconds and you could have whatever song was playing at the time and you just filming something for 15 seconds and it was okay. And then you're on to the next scene. And it's a different song or it's not as loud or something. But no, now it's like, oh, music, no, can't do that. How many times have you seen that? It's a pain in the ass. Now we got this stupid copyright free shit. And nobody likes it. There's some that are better than others. You got to pay for the people that are actually musicians. But still, it's gotten out of control. And YouTube is like... Bottom line is I'm really pissed off about this community guidelines strike that I did no wrongdoing to get. And I'm venting. But still, even after talking to actual human beings who actually watched this video, and they said, basically between the lines, you're absolutely right, but policies dictate, too bad. It's not cool when the computers take over. It never was. Nobody likes when in Windows and it's doing updates and it's like, nope, sorry, we're doing updates. We're processing them. This is going to take time. We don't know how long. And you can't use your computer. You don't get that with your phone, really. If you have an OS update, then yes, it is. And you might be down, 5 minutes, 10 at the most, something like that. But it's kind of like, that's almost a nice thing because now you're like, nobody can text me. I haven't gotten a text in 10 minutes. Gee, that was a nice breath of fresh air. So it's almost accepted and enjoyed in that regard. But otherwise, you don't really get that on your phone. Yeah, you install an app, you got to wait for it to install or update an app or something. That's another story. But you can still text during that time. But still, nobody likes when the computer takes control. I just watched a video today of a BMW with the automatic parking shit, and you saw the guy's hands are not on the wheel, and it tried to back into a spot, spun the wheel around, and went boom! It crashed into something. Is BMW responsible for that? Nope. Sorry. The computer fucked up. You, as a human driver, could back into something also, and it sucks. You fucked up, and now your car is damaged, and maybe you damaged another car or property, and you got to pay. Okay, but is BMW going to pay for this guy? Nope. Too bad. Not cool. Not cool when the computers take over. But unfortunately it is. Alright, enough rant. That's all I got. Thanks for hearing me out on this. It'll go away by the end of August, so it just is. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.